All right, are we live? Can you hear me? If anybody's in this room, if there are spirits in this room, let me know if you can hear me. All right, welcome back to another Thursday night live. Yeah, you can hear me. Thank goodness. All right, yeah, another Thursday night live with Cult Film and Review. What's going on, guys? Welcome, James, back again. Antimony, back again. Good to see you as well. I'm just chilling, drinking a coffee, and getting revved up for tonight's episode. We're going to be talking about a movie called the fuck is this movie called again? Sheba Baby, starring Pam Grier. It's from '75. What's up, Aaron? How's it going? Welcome back again to another bad episode of CFIR Live. I'm going to be talking about a few things tonight. I'm not going to overload it too much. Just going to kind of let you guys chat, and I'm pretty bad about reading the sidebar over here, so I need to teach myself to be better. But James says he's chilling, just getting flooded here in Houston, natural disasters and whatnot. That's why I'm thankful that I live in Phoenix. There's not a lot of natural disasters here, except I guess dust storms. But looking like split second, it's all underwater, huh? Wow, I'm sorry to hear that, James. That's horrible. Houston, though, yeah, it's close to the water, so more rain indeed for Phoenix. Yeah, we always get excited here in Arizona when it rains. It's like everybody's mood changes. They all get super happy, start coming outside, riding bikes, walking dogs and shit. So the rain is definitely something that we look forward to. But yeah, thanks guys for coming in. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of like whatever, loose tonight. Fuck you. Hope you're well, CFIR. Thank you. I'll let the guys know. So we're in September and we're approaching my all-time favorite month of the year, which is October. And I think you could probably figure out why, horror everything. And, it's always usually like the busiest time of the year for all of us. So do you guys have any interesting October plans? Anything fun going on for the month of October? What's up, Egypt Machine? Nice to see you in here. James says, so can we get a few months until another Korean review? It's always depressing. Listen, I know, James. Yeah. We're probably going to take a breather from Korean for a while. Again, October is coming up, so we're going to be doing horror themed month all month. We're just only covering horror films. I don't know if we're announcing exactly how we're doing it yet, but there is a theme to this year. This slate of horror films, and I think there's going to be 5 because there's 5 Thursdays in the month of October. So, but yeah, October's coming up. Anything fun you guys are doing out there? I definitely want to try to hit a few haunted houses if possible. Egypt Machine says she's so busy right now for Halloween already. Yeah, I know. It's this time of year just picks up and kicks up. Lots of events going on. The weather gets nice. Oh, kinda. It's actually been warm the past couple of years, but a lot nicer after, the summer. So people want to get out and do some fun fall stuff. 13th floor. You know what, Aaron? I've been to the 13th floor a few times. And the first time I went, it was fantastic. The second time I went, it was horrible. And the third time I went, it was even worse because it was literally just a line of people walking through, there. If you go by yourself or you go with like just 1 or 2 other people, you actually get scared because people, they can pick you out. But if you're in a line of 15 people, it's like you always see it coming. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the 13th floor anymore. There was a haunted house here one year when I was in high school. That was the ultimate haunted house. It was out in the desert. And it, they took you out in a van and dropped you off, and you had to find your way through in the dark. And, they had all this stuff built up on the mountainsides that you had to climb up. And they did have a path for you to kind of follow, but it was a totally different setting, a unique setting that, they only did like 1 year, but it was super interactive. And yeah, I miss that. I think after going to that, and then also going to the Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios, yeah, I mean, like that, those are really well done. Obviously, they have the money to do it, so just I've always been too much of a pansy for the horror genre. Fuck you. Horror is, it's such a fun genre though. It's one of those genres that I can keep coming back to over and over again. Even though it's like difficult to get scared. Um, I still, I'm still after it. In fact, I saw it too, actually. It ends. It's over, whatever they're calling it. And I have some opinions on it. I don't want to give any spoilers in case anybody out there hasn't seen the second part to it. But one thing I will say is in the original the TV miniseries, I think like the biggest complaint about part two was that it was so dramatic and boring and kind of drawn out. And I hate to say that, I kind of feel like they didn't fix that problem, and I know it is based on a book. It's based on Stephen King's book, and you can only stray so far from it, I guess. But I feel like it suffered from the same thing kind of that the original it suffered from. The part one was really exciting and good. And then part two was kind of like, oh my God, why the fuck is this 3 hours? Like, not saying that it's bad, not saying that I disliked it. I'm just saying it still kind of suffered from the same thing that the first one suffered or the original 90s version, I feel like, suffered from. Aaron disagrees. Aaron disagrees with me. That's good. We like that here at Cult Film and Review. James says, in my job, my clients would be right at home in a slasher movie. I'm good with that, man. Yeah, it too wasn't bad. I totally agree. It wasn't bad. It did have a lot of CGI, but at the same time, the first one did too. So I kind of expected it. Bill Hader, he did. I agree. He brought the comedy to the film, but I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like the same types of jokes were done over and over again. And then eventually you get to that point where you're like, okay, like I get it. You guys have this relationship where you constantly make fun of each other. Like I don't know. It just wears off on me sometimes. Constant scares. I don't know that I felt the same way, but I did think there was a couple good ones for sure. And I'm always a fan when there's like real danger for the kids, and they definitely don't shy away from it in this. You see up close the Pennywise creature character, his mouth opening wide and just chomping down on some kids. So they definitely don't stray away from like the gore and the horror element. And if I was a kid, seeing this version of the movie, I probably would be like freaked out, but I've seen too many now, so I'm glad to see the kids actually get bitten. You want to see those kids go down. So anyways, yeah, I got a couple cool things coming up for October. For the first time ever, I'm going to Beyond Fest, which is in Los Angeles, and I'm just going for the second weekend because I wanted to go to the Evil Dead reimagined screening, and that's basically, I think, where they've rescored the film and like redone the sound and stuff, and I think it's just like a whole new presentation of the movie. Also going to the triple feature of The Fog, Night of the Creeps, and Halloween 3, which is a Tom Atkins, triple feature kind of thing. He's going to be there doing a Q&A, so that should be pretty cool. I've actually never seen Tom Atkins live or at any of the cons or anything. I've never talked to him, but yeah, going to that. And then on the second day, I'm going to go see the definitive 80s horror documentary that's about to come out. So it looks like it's pretty well produced and well done. So, and this is like the world premiere for it. So I definitely am going to check those couple of things out. But there's a lot of stuff. The Beyond Fest spans like a week and a half or something. But, I'm like, I'll just pick the best weekend for me and go. So finally I get to go to this festival. It's going to be cool. It's going to be very, very cool. What else? Disneyland is also happening. Disneyland is happening. It's been 5 years since I've been back, but this is the time of year that I like to go there the most because, of course, the park is, decked out in Halloween themes. So going back to Disneyland for a couple of days and just gonna take a literal real vacation, time off where you just kind of shut everything down and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Me and my girlfriend are going. And yeah, and then after that, what's going on? Oh, Cody and I are going to go see R.L. Stine on November 1st, which is really cool. He's coming to Phoenix, and we ended up getting like 2 of the 50 VIP passes that they were selling. They sold out really fast, but you get like collector's editions of the books. You get like a lunch pail. You get to take a kid with you. Yeah, it's totally a bro date. It definitely is. I even asked my girlfriend. I said, "Is it okay if I take Cody this, because I thought he would really like it. He'd really appreciate it." And of course, he was excited when we got those tickets. So fuck yeah, man. We're gonna go see R.L. Stine. Yeah, I saw a lot of people commenting saying, "Oh, I did all my book reports on those books and stuff like that." They definitely shaped my appreciation for horror, along with the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark books, but Goosebumps as well. It was like when your teacher would read those, at story time, I was always pumped. I was like, yeah, this is my shit. So, gonna go finally meet the man. I get to take my niece. Cody's gonna take his son, and they probably won't really give a shit too much, but we'll be like the kids there, like, oh my god, I can't believe R.L. Stine. But they've seen the movies and stuff, so they're aware of who R.L. Stine is. So I'm sure if we're like, hey, that's the guy who really wrote the books, Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it, and I don't know. I'm always bad about like meeting people that I don't want to say idolize, but like definitely look to for inspiration or like inspired me growing up, because it's like what can you say? Like everything in my head sounds so stupid. It sounds like, hey, I really like your stuff. It's like, no shit, that's why you're here. so I'm just like always like, what could I possibly say that would be at all interesting to these people? And that's kind of a sad way to look at it, but everything just sounds so generic in my own head. So I'm like, yeah, usually I just walk up and say, cool, thanks, or really like your work, and then I leave. I don't like try to make small talk or anything like that. But yeah, I am excited to get that Goosebumps collectibles stuff. Like that sounds like something that's going to be kind of limited. So yeah, R.L. Stine, November 1st. And then after that, I don't know. After that, it's the holidays, and then it's 2020 already. Insane. Will you be as disappointed as Kyle when Carpenter wouldn't smile? John Carpenter never smiles. He has one face, and I feel like he learned that face in like Hollywood. Like every time his movies would fail at the box office, that face would just harden a little bit more and a little bit more until it was finally frozen to that position. And now we're at a point where everybody appreciates his work, and it's like now his face is just frozen in discontentment. Aaron says she got to meet Joe Hill. Who's that? I'd probably kiss his ass too much. Yeah. Anybody else got anything going on for October? What are you guys doing? What's your horror stuff that you guys are doing? Anybody going to check out any movies coming up anytime soon? Looking forward to anything that we should check out? Type them in. Let us know. This is your chance to let it flow. Yeah, that was cheesy. Antimony says Halloween special. You want what about a Halloween special? I like those two words together. Oh, Egypt Machine, the granny. Ever since you brought that up, I've been really contemplating whether or not I want to pick that for the show. But I don't know where we're going to find it. I don't want to buy an $80 VHS tape. So, um, yeah, the granny's been on my mind though, because I read a couple reviews on it and and my memory of it is foggy, but I have a couple of things that like stuck with me. But the reviews were basically like, hey, for some 90s like garbage, it kind of gives you everything that you want, like sex, violence, bad language, all that stuff. So it's like, I'm like, man, maybe I do want to see this. Maybe we need to revisit this. Why did it impact me so much when I was a kid? I remember I was at a slumber party, and they had like the movie channels like HBO and stuff like that. So of course I was like, fuck yeah, gold, right? What's on late at night? And everybody else fell asleep except for me and like the kid whose birthday it was. And we put the granny on and we kind of came in early and then eventually got to the scene. I was saying this, I don't know if I was mentioning this in the chat last week, but they got to the scene where like the niece is like blowing the uncle, and then all of a sudden the niece turns into the granny, and the granny like bites the uncle's dick off and like holds it up in the air. And I remember as a young kid, like that was a very shocking moment because I was like, what the fuck is that? Oh, it's his dick. And then she tosses it back behind her. And from that point, I was like, okay, we can't watch this movie anymore. We can't watch this. And I had to put on Captain Planet because that was like the most like the nicest thing I could find on TV that would make me not fall asleep and get nightmares about, God knows what, my dick getting cut off, who knows. But for like a 10-year-old kid, like that was frightening. So now I want to go back. I want to revisit the granny. I want to see if it still has the same impact or if it was just, the right the right time to see it. Egypt Machine says, right? We had the same introduction to this movie during a slumber party, except it was for my birthday slumber party. Oh, okay, birthday. Yeah, I think it was a birthday that I went to as well. James says, did y'all play Spin the Bottle at said slumber party? Not that one, but I definitely did it once or twice. Egypt Machine, she has it in her hand and shakes it in the air like, what the fuck is this? Exactly. And just that alone is burned into my memory. So the granny, they did something right. I don't think any of the other cult members are in here tonight. Usually we have one or two that hang out and like to chat and throw things. Mike hasn't said he was downstairs yet tonight, so I don't even know if he is. Erin says that she's looking forward to Dr. Sleep. Egypt Machine agrees. I might be just like a little like jaded at this point, but like I am excited about the concept of seeing something that's tied to The Shining. I'm just so like careful with like getting my hopes up, like and maybe that's like my own fault. I can't have I can't hold on to like that childlike excitement with some of this stuff anymore because I've seen it burn down too many times. It's like when a new Child's Play movie comes out, and Timothy will probably agree with this. You're like, oh, why? Why don't they just like, if they're not going to go back to kind of like creating something that fits in with like maybe 1, 2, or 3, like anything beyond that is just like, okay, now we've taken it to, yeah, that level that most slashers get to. Even Freddy, Jason, they've all gotten to it. Like you've done it so many times that it's like you got to keep going bigger and bigger and bigger. And for whatever reason, like the Child's Play movies, it's like I just got to stop at 3. Like that, once we hit 3, anything beyond that, even Bride of Chucky, even all like I'm, like I don't know, for some reason it just takes it to another level that it's almost like when Evil Dead took it to the Army of Darkness level. And I might get in trouble for saying this, but that is definitely not one of my favorites in the Evil Dead series either. Like Army of Darkness is probably my least favorite. But I guess I don't know. Maybe it's a little, maybe it's a little because it's a little too big. So, careful, Chris. Yeah, I know. I'm saying some pretty blasphemous shit on here right now. Is the CFIR crew going trick or treating? I think I'm gonna go with the little kids in my life, but not as an adult. No, I remember one time my dad went. He like put a costume on. I was a kid, and he went with me. And he went up to the door, and like some old lady was like, "Aren't you a little old to be trick or treating?" And it's like, "Fuck you, bitch." He's just going with his kid. Jeez, why do people have to be so shitty? And Timothy says, I hate this whole rewriting origins thing Hollywood has been doing with the horror genre. Rewriting horror origins. Yeah, I mean, somebody else comes in from a younger generation and wants to like try their hand at it. And they're like, it's all about the origin story because of, probably because of, like superhero movies and stuff. Like, I think really dig into that a lot more. So maybe they're trying to apply it to the way they make horror movies now. James says blasphemy, probably to that Army of Darkness shit I said earlier. Do they have corn mazes where you live? They do have a couple corn mazes around where we live. Yeah, they're on the outskirts of town, but yeah, definitely. You need to go pray forgiveness to the statue of Bruce Campbell. I've never met Bruce Campbell, so I don't have an opinion on Bruce Campbell other than what I've heard from other people, and that's that he's not that nice of a guy, but or maybe like he's a little arrogant. But I don't know that. That's just what I've heard through the grapevine. So again, I don't know. I don't get too like caught up with I don't get too caught up with like the celebrity stuff as much, but I am excited about the R.L. Stine thing and fuck yeah, dude. Wow, Chris. Oh, Cult Film and Review finally decided to join us for the last 8 minutes of the show. When the fuck did they make Pinhead an alien? Oh, make him an alien. I don't know. That was probably in Bloodline at some point. Like, that's probably where it started stepping into that realm. And then, they probably like in like 7 or 8, they probably really like doubled down on it. I know. I had a filth mouth tonight saying all kinds of blasphemous cult film things. James Hernandez says spreading Ash hate today on CFIR live chat. No, I love Ash. Like, I actually have a story. Like, I think I might have told it on the episode, but I remembered that those were some of the films that I just blindly rented. Nobody recommended them to me. It was just when I had the opportunity to rent movies out of the horror section. Evil Dead 2 was the one that I like, one of the first ones I grabbed off the shelf. And I just remember it was about the same time that Army of Darkness came out. So after I'd watched it, I told my friend, like, man, you got to see this fucking awesome horror movie, with this guy in this cabin and it's crazy and all this blood and everything like that. And he was like, hey, I just saw a movie that was kind of like had the same kind of character. And, didn't know a lot about movies at the time. So it took us a while to put together that they were related. But, yeah, I've always been a fan of the Evil Dead and the Evil Dead 2. Not the biggest fan of Army of Darkness. Evil Dead the musical will be in Glendale. I think Cody was telling us about that. Yeah, he's gone to see. What did he go see? I forgot which one. Toxic Avenger? I think it was a Toxic Avenger musical. So they did a really good job with that. I thought he was a traveler in the first movie, or am I wrong? I don't know. What is this? James Hernandez. Yeah, love Evil Dead 2. Bruce Campbell thinks Bruce Campbell's a dick. Gotcha. I don't think Bruce Campbell's a dick. I just what I've been told. All right, we've got a couple minutes left here, you guys. Thanks for coming into the live chat. Thursday night, we're going to get ready to record this week's episode coming up here pretty soon. Check us out on cultfilmandreview.com if you want to, see what we've been up to. Obviously, on YouTube is where we release all of our videos. We're going to have another show coming up in November. I believe that's a ways out, but it's going to be 3 O'Clock High. We're doing that at Film Bar. And Cody's got some stuff coming up, too, that he's going to be hosting at Film Bar. So check it out. Keep an eye out on his social media or our social media to see when he's doing those screenings. Burning actually went good, James. Like, we had a good time with that one. Yeah, it was and tomorrow I think we're actually uploading a video to our YouTube page from the Burning screening, a little bit of footage that Cody shot and edited and put together. So you can check that out on YouTube. I think tomorrow in the afternoon is when we're going to have it coming up. So let's see here. Did anyone throw up the last event? Throw up at the last event? I don't think anybody threw up at the last event. Nobody got into a fight. That's good. We were kind of rowdy. I feel like the Cult Film crew, we were all having a good time with it. So The Burning's a good movie. It was a good group watch, and we actually really enjoyed it. How many fights? I think only one fight almost broke out so far. And yeah, it was in the middle of the movie, literally in the dark. Everybody's sitting there just having a good time, and somebody freaked out. So it was no fights, no puking, at least not that I noticed. Yeah, no, Aaron, I don't think there was any, not too many mishaps on this last one, but we had a good time. The Burning, it's a beautiful movie. The cinematography is great. I'm just like, when I'm watching it, I'm like, God damn, I wish my parents sent me to a camp like this. This looks awesome. Of course, without like the murdering part, but the location is just beautiful. Was it the Fisher Stevens fans versus Jason Alexander fans? Yeah, it was like what is it, the Sharks versus the Jets up in there. Fisher Stevens versus Jason Alexander. All right, 3 minutes. Thank you guys so much for coming back in. Good talking to you all, and I like that we're doing this every Thursday night. It's a fun time a good time to get to chat with everybody and see what's going on out there. Remember to like and subscribe and share the podcast. Still got episodes coming out every week. You're going to be trying some new things coming up, so the more help and push that you guys can give us, we greatly, greatly appreciate it. So thanks again for coming in. And if there's anything else, 2 minutes until I shut it down. So if there's anything you guys want to talk about or get out, type it now. The Holly Hunter fans are rowdiest of all. Yeah, they're very passionate about her small role in the film. I don't know, maybe if they were like Crash fans. Oh yeah, crowdfund for that Granny VHS, right? I just feel like I might find that movie in the wild. Like, I don't know why. Somebody's got that shit. That exists somewhere, then somebody's probably just fucking getting rid of stuff. Like, they were just buying whatever in the 90s. And, so you just got to find the right box full of VHS tapes that has a copy of the Granny in it. That's one that I feel like if you found it in the wild, it would just, that would be like the shit. James, I'm sorry. I put too much pressure on you. You still have 2 minutes apparently. So yeah. Any movie recommendations? Anything new and weird that anybody's seen that they want to throw out there? I'll leave it to Intimity to find that shit in the basement. The Granny is on YouTube. Intimity, can you share that link some way with us? I would love to watch that. I would love to see it. again and see if it at all holds up to what my memory I mean, I don't remember it being like a great movie, but yeah, apparently Egypt Machine the Granny is on YouTube. Hell yeah. Night Porter Nazi Kyle said, I had to request house on the website, so I did today. Chat requests don't count. Well, I mean, they count in the sense that, this is like kind of like a one-on-one thing. So, we might be a little bit more excited about it if a lot of us are like, oh, house. It keeps coming up. Yeah, and Timothy, thank you for the link. You guys, thanks for chatting in with me tonight. Stick around for our next episode next week. Check out any of our latest videos on YouTube. Hit the bell, like and subscribe. You'll get notified when we put new stuff out. And yeah, thanks again. cultfilmandreview.com. And see you, Antimity. See you, Egypt Machine. James Hernandez, take it easy. Aaron, see ya. Who else we got in here? Cult Film and Review. I'll see you in a minute. And yeah, next week for another live stream. See ya.